Hey everybody, welcome back to Passpartout. So I still have a nasty cold. Hasn't gone away. I really hope that it will go away, but oh well. Hope everyone's been having as much fun with this series as I have, because this has been just an absolute blast. I got a big old list of things that I want to paint, and I will that way I can keep the recordings going without losing a whole lot of time. But again, any sort of recommendations at all, please do not hesitate to send them my way. Without any further ado, let's get to my new painting, because we got nothing for sale, and I gotta get to work here. So I've decided that I'm going to go back to my roots with this next one, and we're gonna do something real old school here. It'll be a nice little return to form, where loosely defined, so to say. So let's start by just throwing down a bunch of like brown shit in the background, just a whole slatherings of it. So something like that, and we're gonna get this as thin as possible here. We're gonna throw something like that. And we're gonna do this, and then over here we're gonna have like a circly thing, and then like a that and a that. Yep, there we go. That looks pretty much what I'm going for here. We also probably need like a nice little like crack going through the ground, and maybe a crack over here. Yeah, there we are. That looks pretty good. Definitely. So yeah, I'm going for a cave painting vibe here. It just felt like throwing that down as a nice little start to things, and we'll add in some like nice little shading onto the drawing. Guess I could probably also throw in another guy back here, because people didn't hunt by themselves, right? So we'll give him like another thing like that. Yeah, there we go. Everyone loves some good old-fashioned cave paintings, right? Actually, honestly, if you've ever taken the time to look at cave paintings, they're really neat. Like I looked at a couple just on the internet briefly, and there's something very captivating about seeing them and just thinking like, wow, there's like this was the way that people just documented and expressed how their surroundings were and stuff like that. And I don't know, I'm always fascinated by just thinking about like traditions and whatnot. So any sort of like real like native type of art, well, this isn't native art, but like nativist. I don't really know how to describe it, but just like cave paintings. I don't know how to say. They're just. I always just thought they were really cool. But no, this obviously isn't native, because usually you would associate that with like Native Americans, and Native Americans, contrary to no popular belief whatsoever, were not cave people. Otherwise, the Flintstones would have a very different vibe to it than what they were actually going for. Last but not least, in our cave painting, we need to throw back to an old pal. If you remember him, we need to throw back to Zognard, the Destructinator. So he's going to be here as well, but in cave painting form. So we'll give him a balled up fist, and yeah, something like that. Okay. So there's Zognard the Destructinator. He's back and ready to destroy us all. Or maybe I call him Zognard the Conqueror or something like that. I don't really remember. But yeah, there we go. That's my cave painting. Before I depart, I'm also gonna throw in a little inspiration here. There we are. And up here we're gonna go ahead and throw down a little 420 cave it. Bro. All right, so that's the name of this piece. It's gonna be 420 Cave It. Should totally sell that. Oh, you mean the my inspiration? No, no, no. I can't sell my inspiration. That's probably illegal. This one's called 420 Cave It, comma, bro. And let's see how well this one sells. I assume this is gonna wind up straight on the Louvre. So, all right, that was the first one I had. I wanted to kind of start off with something really easy and stupid to warm up my brain here. Fresh like a morning baguette, $163. Well, that's not my best, but it's better than nothing. I think that the function of how much you get paid is probably basically just time. Alright, so this is going to be another one that's going to be real quick. We're going to go with another piece of modern art here. So we'll do something like that. And maybe something like that. And something like that. Yeah, that looks good. And then right over there, that looks really good. And we're gonna color this square in red. Yep, and we're gonna color this square in over here blue. And we're gonna color this square in up at the top yellow. So this is a homage of sorts to Piet Mondrian, who is an artist that I really like. Ladybird hates Piet Mondrian, but I actually am a big fan of Piet Mondrian. Let's see, what should I put in the middle here though? Because I can't just do this. I'm obviously just gonna get like $50 or something like that. But let's put in another little reference to who I am and what I stand for here. We're gonna throw in a little bird, done in the traditional bird catcher colors, not the ones that Wanderbot goes with. So you gotta always what am I trying to say? You gotta always put your name, your little moniker on your pieces so that people know which ones to buy. Which I had an art teacher that actually really hated that aspect about the art market. He always thought it was like super vain that people would just always put their signatures on things. It's just a marketing thing according to him. So, and he's not exactly wrong, right? Like he is super right to be like that is like a super vain thing to do. But it also pays the bills. So cannot really blame artists for always putting their names on shit. So, okay, we'll put in an eye, and let's give them their feet now. Oh, if I remember, it's been a long time since I've drawn a bird, but it was something like that. And then I think over here I put in, on the birdcatcher logo, some kind of like flowery looking thing. It's been a long time since I've even looked at my own logo, actually. It's kind of like a little flowery looking doodad. And then I kind of also put in a... Oh, wow. If it looks like that, it looks like my bird just took a big, like, poopy blue shit there. So we need to put in this ball and chain real fast. But yeah, I was really proud when I made this logo way back in the day. I don't do graphic design very often, but it was a lot of fun to experiment with, just very briefly trying to make my own logo. I actually animated a introduction for a lot of my old videos that turned out very well, and I haven't used that in forever either, but I should see if I can find that somehow. I think it's on my Linux laptop or something. But let's go ahead and add in the links here for the ball and the chain, and let's add in a little bit of shading on each link. Yep, looks close enough to what I was going for. And I'll add in a little bit of the highlights. That's about as that's about as high resolution as I can get. Let's also add in just a little bit of substance on the top of the beak there. That actually looks really, really bad. So we'll go with a different color. There we go, that's a little bit better. Lastly, I almost forgot the wings, so we'll do that real quick. Just add in a nice little, like, fluffy wing like that. And we should probably also add in some black into the eye so it looks a little bit better. I need to make the eye a little bit smaller. There you go. So that's the birdcatcher logo right there. Been a long time since I looked at it. I guess I also probably had some shading on the legs as well, but of course we wouldn't have anything right there. And let's add some shading there. Okay, that looks reasonable. Let's add in something like that. Okay, so that's the old school birdcatcher logo, and this is not the one I used for my thumbnails or anything like that. That's the one that I used for my official channel art. It still feels nice and empty, so we're gonna throw in over here, just in the corner, a little Wanderbot face as well, just because I gotta shout out to my homies, if you know what I'm saying. So it looks something like this, if I remember. And he's got like a real small, like little visory thing. And he's probably also got like some ear things. I don't know, I haven't looked at his thing in a long time. That came out wrong. That's okay. He's also got like a little visor part that comes down around the side of the helmety thing, and I don't think that he actually had like a little ear part up there. So what we're gonna do is, because I can't erase, we're just gonna make it bigger, and that will more or less get the same effect across. So we'll just use that as an opportunity to fix it by just making this whole thing bigger. And we'll add in his lines like that. So that's a tiny little like hint of Wanderbot face over there. I could also do Keith, except I don't feel like drawing like his like suit of armor. So for Keith, we're just gonna draw the poop emoji. So that's it, and a little piece of corn sticking out on the side there. The corn is, as we all know, apparently just undigestible food. Okay. I was gonna give the bird a little mustache. And a monocle. And a top hat. Boop. Ah, that is a classy painting right there. Alright, we're gonna call this one, well, I guess I'm gonna call it, Pete Mondrian. So, Pete Mandarin. So, we'll see if that one sells whatsoever. I originally was not intending on making it very fan servicey and throwing in everyone's logos, especially the very famous poop emoji of the Keith channel, but what can I say? Felt like just throwing that in there. Alright, let's see if someone's planning on buying this. We have a prospective buyer. Lacks energy, I don't like it. Well, fuck you, synth. Not even Cynthia, just synth. I don't need you today. I do need your money, so hopefully your opinion changes, but that's okay. We can work with this. Okay, so a couple little warm-up paintings there. Let's get into actually doing some stuff that I wanted to do. So let's do. Let me just get a quick little picture up on my phone so I have something to work with. 262. That's probably as good as I'm going to get, so I'm going to go ahead and sell it for that amount. And I believe I'm over $1,000 now, so let's quickly check the register to make sure that that's the case. Yeah, I'm over $1,000, so I'm probably going to go on to the next act or something like that if I know how video games work. Certainly, I would probably have a bit of a suspicion, but I don't know. This game is very experimental, so it could be that they maybe don't want to just make it immediate. Like you got 1,000 points, you immediately move on to the next act. So I'm gonna quickly set up a. Okay, there we are. I I need to put my phone where I can see it because I need a reference for what I'm about to do. So this next one I'm going to call Sir Winston Furchill. So let's start by throwing down a whole bunch of grass in the background here. We'll just use green for grass. I think that's probably a pretty good starting point, right? And we'll need to let's see. We need to put in some stuff in the background as well. So we're gonna throw down some good old-fashioned shrubbery back here. Yeah, that looks great. We got ourselves a nice little en plein air, as they like to call it. And we'll add in some sky. Yeah, there we go. That's looking pretty damn decent so far. We'll add in a couple of bright spots on the bushes here. Looks great. Okay, obviously I have my brush way too big, so we'll need to add in some. We'll need to size down the brushes a little bit. So let's add in a couple highlights here. And you know what's really, really fascinating about this game is that even though it's like a very silly game ostensibly and very like you're not really supposed to take it super seriously, a lot of the same theories about how to like make your paintings look good apply. Like you have to be very suggestive, not suggestive, what's the word? With how little resolution that you have to work with here, to make your stuff look good, you kind of have to, you have to leave a lot to the imagination, so to speak. So you have to imply certain things more so than you have to actually like paint them out. So see here, what I'm doing is I'm throwing down a bunch of these like branches, and that looks terrible. So I need to, that's too much detail, and that's what I was going for there. But if I start to just add in some dark spots here, and then add in some stuff to just like cut into that a little bit, we're starting to get a more bushy texture just from that alone, right? Like you can it sort of feels like a bush without being a particularly realistic painting of one. So that's more or less what I was trying to say, even though I didn't really do a particularly good job of explaining it. But that basically gets the core idea across, and we're gonna also add in just a little bit of stuff right there. So yeah, that feels fairly bush-like without being too realistic about it. So you gotta, a lot of the same things apply, even though it's like a very, very silly game. That's all I was trying to get at there. So let's go through and let's darken up the grass that I put down here. We'll leave the grass that's really close to the front as a brighter color, because things that closer to you tend to be brighter than things that are... No, I have that backwards, I'm sorry. Things that are further away from you tend to be brighter than things that are closer to you. So we'll do broadly, like just 3 swaths here. And obviously I need to kind of fill in that a little bit more. There we go. Yeah, that feels reasonably believable. If I also wanted to, I could add in just a touch of dark blue at the bottom here, and that will make this stand out a little bit nicer. And we'll have that come down over the ground a little bit more. Lastly, we'll fill in here with a little bit like that. Okay, so that's a pretty reasonable looking bush. Now you might be wondering, like, that's a little weird that I did like a dark blue or whatever. I actually am trying to play with the color temperature here. So I have like some things up here are more yellowish, so they're a little bit warmer, and then to balance that out, I have a couple of just really dark blues thrown in. to just give more contrast there. So there's a little bit of actual painting theory that I'm going to apply in my very, very stupid painting that I'm doing here. I mean, you know, you got to make your own fun with a game like this. So if I wanted to, I bet you anything I could probably get through this whole game by just doing like stick figures. And I bet that the game would, as a function of just how long you've been playing it, I bet it would like, oh, you know, this is worth more because you're a more established artist or whatever. Not like anything that's even remotely grounded in reality. But I figure I might as well, if I have the know-how on how to do stuff, I might as well actually like apply it, at least somewhat. So there you are. That's two things that are more or less believable in their bushiness. We'll add in just a touch of shading along the bottom here, just to add out some background, and then we'll need to fill that back in. That is decidedly the wrong color, so we'll just go ahead and kill that a little bit, like so. And that's way too thick over there. But yeah, that gets more or less the point across. And we're gonna come up over here and add in some fluffy little cloudies and a bird. Cool. So gotta, if you're drawing a picture of a bird, it's got to be an M. Am I right? I am right. I will establish that right away. Okay, now let's add in the subject of our painting here. Now that we've done the background, we're gonna do Sir Winston Furchill. So let's do his like underbelly color right here, and let's give him like a collar. So we'll do something like that, and we'll have that just kind of disappear into the fluff here. We'll do something like this, and we'll add in, let's see, I actually have a picture of a corgi here, so I can do at least a reasonable job of making them look relatively corgi-ish. Oh, did I mention that Sir Winston Furchill is a corgi? Because I think that's actually very important to know. For people who didn't expect that, I have to wonder, I mean, really? He's called Sir Winston Furchill. He's obviously going to be a corgi. I guess the closest color I have to match with is a orange. Though I'd prefer if I had something... we'll go with this. We'll go with this color, I guess. And back to the underbelly fluff over here. We'll go ahead and do that. Okay, looks pretty reasonable. And we want to start filling in the face as well. So we'll do this color probably, and we'll add in the eyes and stuff in a bit. But we'll do something like that, I think. And we'll add in the nose now, so I have something to start aiming for. We'll add in his doofy doggy face here. So that's looking pretty good. We'll make him have his mouth open as well, and then we'll have his big old tongue sticking out, and we'll add in some shading on the underside of the tongue as well. That is actually kind of super annoying, but if you notice, I have like hot pink to work with and like a very saturated red, and very little to work with outside of those two boundaries. So I guess I just have to work with what I've been given. We'll add in, we'll thin out the mouth as much as I can here to make it match up. Okay, and last but not least, we need to reclaim some of this up here as well. So that's pretty decent. Let's add in the eyes next, I think. So we'll give him some eyes like that. Yeah, that's pretty goddamn adorable. We'll give him nice little eye shines, and let's add in, oh my god, this is absolutely like ridiculously cute looking already. Let's add in some shading on the underside of his face, and we'll add in a little bit more like that. We'll add in some of the orange on the top on his actual face up here. Let's do. God, that orange is just not the right color. This yellow works. This yellow will work with everything else. This like cad yellow that they give us, but that orange is not the right one that I need for my purposes here. So we'll fill in that sort of color for the face. Obviously, I'm going to need to redo the eyes in a second here, but we'll fix that. And then corgis tend to have a little like pattern on their face, so we'll do something like so, and like so, and then they kind of have something like this around. So we'll work with that for right now. We'll need to thin out this, and this orange is just not the right color. What about the yellow? Does the yellow work? No. So the colors are just too they're just not right. They're just not the right tones, and I can't change them. So we'll have to stick with this kind of creamish color instead for the fluffy face, and we'll have to improvise a little bit to get the right sort of effect here. We'll need to add the eyes back in now, and they're too big, so we'll need to reclaim that somewhat. Let's just erase the eyes, and we'll let's see. I might want to actually hold off on doing the eyes for right now, because I want to make sure that I do everything in relatively the right proportions. So we'll finish the dumb corgi face first, then we'll add in the eyes. So let's just flesh out the rest of his head here, and let's make the eyes like so. That's where the eyes will end up going in the future. And let's add in the ears now. So we'll do this creamy color for the interior of the ears, like so. And we need to get that more like that. And we'll pull that in down here. Nice big doofy corgi ears. I'm gonna add in that. And then we'll add in over here similarly sized big doofy corgi ears. Okay, so that's looking pretty well, pretty interesting. Not quite what I was going for overall, but close enough for my purposes. Let's add in some shading on this part of the ear and that part of the ear as well. Let's throw the eyes back in. Those are a little bit on the big side, so we'll try again with a slightly smaller brush here. Okay. There we go. There we go. Yeah, not too big, just big enough to be really stupid looking. There. Oh man, that is the spitting image of all things corgi. I'm gonna reclaim a little bit of this space using the background color, and we're gonna reclaim this space as well, and we're gonna add in a little bit of this and a little bit of this, and that is probably the best I can do with these MS Paint like tools here, and the complete ability to actually pick the colors that I want. We can probably flesh this out a little bit more here, and then I want to add in a little bit of shine on the nose like so, and we need to probably consider reshaping the collar a little bit. We'll do that, and we'll add in a dog tag there. Cool. So this is more or less what I was going for. Last but not least, I did name this corgi Sir Winston Furchill, so we need to make him live up to his moniker. And if you think, well, golly, what the hell would that entail? It is, we're gonna give him a little hat. So we'll do this right through here. Just do it purely in black so it looks as dumb as possible. And we'll give it a little gray band, I think, just around. Yep, that looks good. Like so. And we need to give Sir Winston Furchill his monocle, because he needs to be as dapper as possible. That yellow is not quite right. How about an orange instead? Orange stands out well enough. And we need to give him his chain. So we'll do doot, doot, doot. Nah, I'm not going to draw individual things like that. The chain will come down like that. And last but not least, Sir Winston Furchill needs a big ol' stogie of a cigar. Just absolutely like the fattest of I don't know cigar slang whatsoever. If it weren't absolutely painfully obvious with what I just said there. And let's give him just a couple little whiskeys. There we go. I have those on totally the wrong part of his face, but whatever. And we'll just add in some fluffy stuff right there. Yeah, so these whiskers are so poorly placed that it actually made Sir Winston Furchill look more like a cat after all was said and done. So we'll do that, and that is back to being Winston-y and Furchill-y. So we'll call this one done, and that took a lot longer than I expected it would. Boop. There we go. I put a lot more effort into that one than I expected I would. And that's one of those rare paintings that from a distance ends up looking way worse than it actually than up close. Sir Winston Furchill. Awesome stuff. Alright, and let's see how much that ends up selling for. How much money do I have still? 793. I've lost money with this playthrough for how long this painting took me to do. Oh well. Hey, I remember you. You're a synth. What do you think of this one? Oh, what? I called it. What the hell, synth? Oh, you know what? I bet it's probably each AI has its own preferences in your paintings, and I can appeal to different scenes. That'd be my guess. But wow, I didn't think it would have like a consistency about it like that. Like there's a world, a whole world here. Interesting, yeah. So right now there's only punks, and they're not gonna buy my stuff because it doesn't have the energy, it doesn't have the pizzow, the zap that they want, I guess. Well, you know, that's fair. Everyone can want what they want in life. But I want this to be sold, so god damn it. Okay, it's just these two. Well, fine. Whenever this sells, it'll sell, but that'll be on the next episode. So thank you for watching.